Hello everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are doing great. Now, a lot of the time on this channel, I talk about being a highly sensitive person without actually doing any videos about being a highly sensitive person, if that makes sense. I tend to kind of slip them in with every other kind of topic that I cover, such as being INFP or being an empath or having ADHD, and many a times having all those different attributes to yourself, whether you are an empath, whether you are an INFP, whether you have ADHD, or if you're a sensitive person in general. Many of us are also highly sensitive people. About 20% of the population are deemed as highly sensitive. And that, of course, covers more than just simply being an INFP, for example. So I kind of thought, well, because there are so many people on this planet who are actually highly sensitive people, and there are many misconceptions that go along with that, I should do a video about the misconceptions of being a highly sensitive person. Society, especially Western society in general, does deem being a highly sensitive person or sensitivity as a weakness. It's not so much being a highly sensitive person in general that is considered a weakness. However, it's the aspects which come with it, such as self-expression and the ability to be able to recognize and feel your emotions. In our society, we expect people to just kind of get on with it. Highly sensitive people are very attuned to their environments, and they can become overwhelmed with too much outside stimulation. And of course, society sees this as too distracting and it gets in the way of production. So in a way, society does see that as a weakness. However, the measure of strength rather is how we actually deal with our emotions and sensitivity to the environment, i.e. sensitivity and emotion are the backbone of passion. It is the driving force behind the meaning of passion. It's what pushes us forward and what helps us to get things done. So in a way, it depends if we are going to be productive with our emotion and our sensitivity versus if we're not going to be productive with it. So really it's up to us. It's our individual choice of how we're actually going to use our sensitivity and emotions to be productive. And that, of course, isn't subjected to the highly sensitive group identity, but rather who we are as individuals. So, for example, we could use that emotion and that sensitivity to write a song. And then that song could then move people and inspire people to do something with their own sensitivities. That emotion and sensitivity could inspire someone to run for president, for example, as a very, very extreme example. So when it comes down to it, sensitivity or non-sensitivity is not synonymous with strength. Strength is how we use our characteristics, how we use who we are to better ourselves and our environment. We are who we are, and there's not really any point in trying to change our fundamentals in order to be a functioning part of society. And rather, it is how we can use who we are to help better society. How can we use our sensitivity and our emotions to help others? How can we use our sensitivity and emotions to help ourselves? The next misconception is that highly sensitive people are mostly women. Now, while women tend to be more emotionally receptive, especially in a social group, that certainly does not mean that men aren't sensitive or men don't feel their emotions. It rather comes down to the individual of how we express our emotions and our sensitivities. Many men do keep their sensitivity a little bit more quiet and a little bit more closer to their chest, and this can be from a variety of different reasons. One of those reasons being that men, of course, are coming out of old stereotypes and old paradigms where they feel that they can't outwardly express themselves. But it's also up to that individual as well. Not every single male out there does feel like expressing themselves outwardly to other people. Sometimes highly sensitive men do like to use their sensitivity and their emotions in a very practical manner. So we can head to that first point where I talked about using our sensitivity and our emotions in a very practical, productive way to help others and to help ourselves. some men do that and they end up enveloping themselves into their work or into something that makes them feel good. Again, I'll use the example of songwriting. My husband, he is a highly sensitive person and he uses his emotions and his sensitivity within his music, whether he's songwriting or especially when he is performing. He loves to be able to get on stage and just fully immerse himself in the songs that he's singing. And I think that's partially what makes him an incredible musician. You can really feel it from the audience, this vibe that he emits and the power that he puts into his singing. But on the other hand, my husband isn't so likely to go and join a social group and express himself within that social group. He prefers to use his sensitivity with things rather than people. And again, it all comes back down to the individual. How is it that you prefer to express that sensitivity and that emotion? The next misconception is that highly sensitive people are on the autistic or ADHD spectrums. Now, people with ADHD and autism can be highly sensitive people, but the highly sensitive person is not a developmental disorder. The highly sensitive person is not someone who has mental illnesses. They are simply a highly sensitive person where they feel their emotions more intensely and they are more likely to react to outside stimuli. That sensitivity to the environment is where I feel the misconception comes in, because people who do have autism or do have ADHD may experience sensory overload. So they become very, very overwhelmed with their environment. If there is situations going on in their environment which can become overwhelming, such as too much noise, the TV going on, the fridge humming, the clock ticking, kids squealing, all of it, those kinds of things can become overwhelming. This can happen with smells as well. If there is a very, very strong smell, it can just completely overwhelm the person who has autism or ADHD. And this can also be seen in people who are highly sensitive as well. But those who do have developmental disorders also have other symptoms of their disorders, which is the reason why they were diagnosed in the first place. For example, I have ADHD and I have executive dysfunction. Executive dysfunction isn't seen in people who are highly sensitive. The next one is that highly sensitive people are only introverts. About 30% of highly sensitive people are extroverts. And again, it all comes back to environmental stimuli and how that highly sensitive person reacts to that stimuli. An extrovert gains their energy by socializing with others or doing activities within a social group. This could be aspects such as connecting with other people, sitting down and having a one-on-one conversation with others. It could mean playing music with others. It could mean performing with others. It could mean working on projects with others. And that in itself isn't an overstimulating factor. An extroverted, highly sensitive person could become overwhelmed when there's too much noise in their environment. An extroverted, highly sensitive person could become overwhelmed when there's yelling or when there's arguments or when there's too much conflict. But conflict and arguing in itself isn't synonymous with being in a social group or interacting socially. Conflict is only one aspect of engaging in social communication. Even as an introvert myself, I absolutely love being able to connect with others one-on-one. I absolutely love to be able to sit around a campfire with a guitar and a bunch of close friends and have a good old jam. To me, that's really relaxing and it actually enhances my highly sensitiveness, but enhances my sensitivity in a good way where I feel like I'm connecting. And the last and most important aspect, I would say, is the misconception that highly sensitive people cannot be successful. In our society, being a highly sensitive person isn't really a valued factor, but I think this is because no one really talks about it. But you'd be surprised how many people who have made it are actually highly sensitive people. And really, what is making it? Is making it what our society deems as making it, such as becoming a billionaire? Because making it is up to each individual as to how they perceive making it. Making it could be seen as simply running a local business. And a highly sensitive person is absolutely capable of doing just that. Highly sensitive people can often see things that other people can't. They are very receptive to their environments and respond in very unique ways. Highly sensitive people are also very intuitive and creative. We come up with very creative solutions to problems. And our empathy and sensitivity can make us very competent managers. One of the issues that I've faced having a job is that the managers that I've had have always been quite incompetent. They haven't known how to manage different personalities, and that's been their biggest downfall. A highly sensitive person, an empath, are receptive to other people. They understand that people are unique individuals with unique personalities and therefore need to be managed in very unique ways. Of course, this doesn't come without challenge for the highly sensitive person, as it does with everyone. But generally speaking, the highly sensitive person is absolutely just as capable as anyone else when it comes to finding success within their life. Would they be cut out for a cutthroat, highly competitive environment? Maybe they may struggle a little bit with that. But that's not the only way to measure success in society. And we need to start seeing many different facets as a successful situation. So I hope you really enjoyed this video and learned a little bit more about the highly sensitive person. If you have any comments, please leave them below. I would love to hear some requests for future videos from you guys, so please let me know too. But for now, I hope you guys have a good day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you guys all again for the next video. Bye!